let's talk about something that so many of us feel but maybe don't always put a name to: spiritual exhaustion. You know that feeling of being completely drained, not from work, not from life's usual stresses, but from the very things that are supposed to fill us up. So together, we're going to explore what that burnout really looks like and, more importantly, find a way back to renewal.
Have you ever had one of those days, or maybe weeks, where the idea of going to church just feels heavy? Or maybe just opening your Bible feels like a huge effort. It's not some big crisis of faith necessarily, it's more like a deep spiritual laziness, just a general feeling of blah that kind of hangs over everything.
And hey, if that sounds even a little bit familiar, I want you to hear this. You are not alone. And it's definitely not some kind of personal failure. It's that moment when your spiritual practices start to feel less like a source of comfort and more like another thing on your to-do list. And that is a very, very real experience.
You know, this feeling of being spiritually burned out, it's not new, not by a long shot. It's a weariness that you can hear echoing back through centuries. And to really get it, we're going to look at a powerful ancient story, the story of the prophet Elijah. The whiplash in Elijah's story is just, wow. I mean, 1 minute he's on Mount Carmel at the absolute peak of his power. He's just had this massive, public, miraculous victory. And then, almost in the next breath, he completely crashes. He's running for his life, all by himself in the desert, totally and completely spent. And right there, in that moment of total despair, he just says, "I have had enough, Lord." Think about that. This isn't just a guy having a bad day. This is one of the most famous prophets in history, at the absolute end of his rope, basically asking to die. It just goes to show you that even the most faithful, the most devoted people can hit a wall. But here's the most important part. The story doesn't end there in the wilderness. And that is the whole point, because just as there's this ancient weariness, there is an equally ancient promise. There's an invitation to step out of that burnout. In this verse, this is that invitation. It's not another command to try harder or to do more. No, it's an open call to anyone and everyone who feels worn out, who feels burdened, who feels spiritually blah. And it offers a simple but incredibly powerful promise: rest.
So, what even is this rest we're talking about? Well, it's really important to get this. We're not just talking about taking a nap. Sacred rest is something you do on purpose. It's about letting go of that pressure to perform spiritually, to check all the boxes. And instead, it's about shifting your focus to just reconnecting and, well, being nourished.
Okay, that all sounds really nice, right? But how do we actually do it? This is where we get practical. It's all about finding a rhythm that's meaningful for you, right where you are in your life.
And the process is actually super simple. First, you just have to acknowledge the need. Just admit it, I'm tired. Second, pick one simple thing, one practice that sounds like it might fill you up instead of drain you. And third, and this part is so important, start small. Like really small. The goal here is not to completely change your life overnight, it's just to build one small, consistent habit. And the cool thing is, in our crazy modern world, we actually have a ton of tools that can help. This isn't about having to go sit in a monastery for a week, right? A meaningful rhythm could be as simple as listening to a worship playlist on your way to work, or maybe using a Bible app for a quick 5-minute devotional, or even a guided prayer app to help you wind down at night. It's all about using the tools that are already around you. So, as we bring this all together, what's the big takeaway here? What's the real art of sacred rest? It all comes down to this one simple number: 1. That's it. The goal is not to add 10 new things to your spiritual checklist. The real art of finding this rest is in finding just one meaningful rhythm. Just one simple practice that starts to shift your faith from feeling like a chore back to feeling like a source of life again. And maybe the biggest mindset shift of all is this one right here. So often we think of rest as something we get to have after we've done all the work. It's the reward. But sacred rest completely flips that idea on its head. It's not the reward for all your spiritual effort. It's the fuel that makes a healthy, life-giving faith possible to begin with. So the last question is really just for you. Don't even think about tomorrow or next week. Right now, what is one small, super simple step you can take today to start disconnecting from that pressure to perform and start reconnecting with that promise of rest?